Greetings, this is Greg for Tesla Fan Insight. This week's talk focuses on the fact that there are 11 Teslas stolen in 1 week in the Netherlands that were not recovered. And my goal is to sort of take a look at that situation and review process and plans on it. Bonjour, wie geht's? Wie steht's noch im Ostbeinen? Strasvice, ni hao ma, buongiorno, guten Tag. This is Greg for Tesla Fan Insight. One of the sort of hot news items that's going on is the fact that starting maybe 2 months ago, there were Teslas that were being stolen and turning into parts at different, or being discovered as parts in trucks that were heading to different parts of Europe. My initial read was that I didn't want to do any discussion of it because there was a feeling that it's a relatively minor number and it may not be a huge problem. It was recently announced that in 1 week there were 11 Teslas stolen and not recovered in any manner that are most likely being sold as parts currently. As you all know, any Tesla vehicle, because of the nature of the supply chain of Tesla, causes each of those parts to be worth 4 times what they're worth if it's just part of a contiguous vehicle. So what I did was review with a security expert kind of what is going on with this, what alternatives might look like. And what I was informed is that the way this is probably going to work is that the folks who created the technique for stealing these vehicles and then reselling them will likely try to get their money back before they jump on the dark web and share with people in other places how to do this. The process, therefore, I think means that we'll see more thefts going on in Europe, perhaps at the same pace, perhaps higher, with their goal being of making sure that the software redos that Tesla does doesn't sort of wipe out the technique that they've developed for stealing these cars. So for those viewers who are not sort of in that European category where there are a lot of vehicles being stolen, you can expect that we likely see thefts, but nothing like what's being seen in the Netherlands and Northern Europe at this point. But that's not going to remain the case as we move over time. So after reviewing with some security experts what best practices might be for current owners, it was suggested that it's probably a good idea to look at adding some kind of secondary security devices to your vehicle. What does that mean? That could mean a steering wheel, lock bar. It could mean possibly some other type of alarm. I think it probably ends up being more mechanical. And so if your vehicle isn't in your locked garage or in some other kind of sort of locked setting, it's highly recommended that if you're in Europe, there are going to be a lot more cars stolen before this is solved. I reviewed with the security expert sort of the techniques that one could use to get this theft done. All of them seem to be logical and very possible to execute. So I would suggest that I would suggest and highly recommend secondary locking devices for your Tesla. Beyond that, I wanted to highlight the fact that, I think if you get on the web and read about owners who've had their vehicles stolen, it's probably a good idea to also take the time to review the circumstances under which those vehicles were stolen and try to identify whether or not the manner in which you store your vehicle is comparable to what other folks might be doing when they're taking these losses. Look forward to your comments on this. This is Greg for Tesla Fan Insight. Again, 11 cars stolen in 1 week that were not recovered, likely being sold for parts because as a continuous unit, they would not have any value in the open marketplace. I think that it's definitely worth the time to note that this is happening and to monitor it. And as the thefts roll into your part of the world, that's when you really want to maybe institute some more measures that are not common to all users, like metal security across the steering wheel column, etc., because the electronic methods of a LoJack or the techniques used by Tesla to protect the vehicle have been compromised, and Tesla's working to address that, but have not been able to completely control the problem. Again, thanks for taking time out. This is Greg for Tesla Fan Insight. Tschüss, macht's gut, au revoir, à tout à l'heure, Lehitrod, Hoda Hafez. Please like and subscribe and look forward to your comments.